We've all had this nightmare. You finally buy your dream home, the one you've imagined your whole life. You get the keys, you're standing in your living room, and for once, life feels complete. But then you check the news. Housing market's tanking, your house is now worth far less than you paid. Suddenly, you're the punchline at family dinners. Your group chat lights up, and worst of all, your dad was right. You are, in fact, a failure. But, okay, maybe I got a little bit too personal with that part. But let's admit it. The thought has crossed your mind, and it's terrifying. So what actually happens when you buy a house and the markets crash on you? I mean, what happens? Here's the thing. Houses don't drop in value like stocks. There isn't a little ticker symbol indicating and updating by the second. Instead, your home's value is determined by comparables, what similar homes in your neighborhood actually sell for. If your neighbor sells their house at 440K, yours is probably worth about the same. And then if they slash the price to 400K, maybe because they are desperate to move, well, then your home just took a haircut too. And if the next person lists for, 350K or even 300K, the trend becomes a reality. It's not instant. It's more like a slow bleed. It takes months, maybe even years of small cuts until one day you realize that your 420K home is now worth, 300. And yes, small improvements like a paint job may change the price, but they definitely don't add considerably to the appraisal. I'm sorry about that. Maybe a swimming pool could actually do that. But what actually happens when the market dips? It actually depends on which type of buyer you are. But I'll do a bit of an example here with three characters. There is Casey, there's Jordan, and Riley, right? So Casey is the overstretcher. Casey wanted a house now. It didn't matter if interest rates were high, didn't matter if their budget was tight. They qualified for 480K, so they bought a 430K home. Their mortgage basically eats up 60% of their take-home pay. At first, it's fine. The paychecks cover it. Bonuses are rolling in, and everyone tells Casey, don't worry, you just refinance it when the rates drop. But then the rates don't drop, and the market dips, and their house is actually worth maybe 350K. Now, Casey can't refinance and can't even sell without losing money. And he has no breathing room. Matter of fact, he's drowning. Imagine it's like standing in a pool. You have water at your chin. Casey has water at his chin. And as long as nothing happens, he's fine. But if he gets a cramp, or, it rains and the water raises an inch, then he's underwater. And he is right now. That's Casey. He's living on his tiptoes, praying nothing goes wrong. Then there's Jordan.
I want you to understand, we don't do anything illegal whatsoever.
He's the careful buyer. Jordan makes the same amount of money as Casey, but, he bought differently. Instead of maxing out, Jordan went for a modest 200K home. Maybe a little smaller, maybe a bit outside of his dream neighborhood. But their mortgage, it's about 25% of their take-home pay. And that means plenty of room left for saving, traveling, emergencies, or even just, fast food or whatever, because life is better with fast food and pizza and McDonald's, We're not trying to be Brian Johnson here.
I have been spending millions of dollars to show you one of my favorite meals called Super Veggie. To start, weigh and chop your raw vegetables.
And when the market dips, Jordan's house might fall to, 150K. Sure, he can't refinance or sell either without losing money, but the difference is that Jordan is not drowning. If Casey's pool water is at their chin, then Jordan is only at waist height. A cramp, annoying, but survivable. A little rain, still breathing easy. Jordan bought within their means so the storm doesn't sink them. Now, there is another person, there's Riley. They looked at the chaos and they said, nope, that's too crazy, I'll just wait. I'll not buy a house right now. They're not even in the pool. They're just sitting on the side, sunscreen on, with their floaties inflated, watching everyone splash around. That can be smart. No drowning risk, no negative equity. But here's the catch. It never feels like the right time to jump in. And also, if the market goes well, they're actually missing out. People in 2012 said houses were too risky. People in 2019 said the same. Now, guess what? Those buyers are sitting on a huge pile of money right now, huge gains. So waiting forever isn't really a plan. Eventually you have to get in the water. But the key is to make sure that you're actually stepping into the shallow end and not diving head first into the deep end without floaties. So just buy within your means and not beyond. You have to make some sacrifices a lot of times. So the thing is, a market crash only hurts if you're forced to sell or refinance. If you can comfortably pay for your mortgage and ride out the storm, you'll be okay. So the question isn't, will the housing market crash? The question is, if it does, are you drowning like Casey or floating like Jordan? Are you preparing like Riley or just pointing and laughing from the sidelines? You know, because if you're like Riley, you want to be putting some money aside, investing in the S&P 500 for the right moment for you to buy a house. Because owning a home should eventually be your goal. Because while we debate timing, corporate investors are buying up starter homes and turning them into rentals. They're not waiting. So, you know, check your finances, build your savings, know your limits. Don't buy a home that forces you to live on your tiptoes, but don't wait forever either. And also, you know, again, if the market crashes and you can still pay, you haven't lost your job and you can still pay, it's not as convenient, but it's fine. The real problem comes when you actually lost your job and you lost a lot of money on the asset that you own. So yeah, I mean, it's not about just buying a house. So invest in stocks until you don't buy a home, and when you're done and you found your deal, then just buy it. Buy what you need, and don't overbuy, because it's not about buying just a house. It's about building a home. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.